What happens if the Democrats take control and there's a 3-vote split? Well, obviously, I think it's a pretty simple plot, not even complicated. Democrats retake the House. They take power. Hakeem Jeffries gets the gavel. They pass some legislation. I don't know how that works, right? They write some new rules, whatever. No one knows how this works. Okay, so we just wake up one morning and there's a big 1,000-page bill on someone's desk. None of them read it. They all vote for it. So who the hell knows, right? I don't know. But they cobble together a resolution, whatever. It's not an impeachment. It's just a resolution. It's just a bill. It's just a whatever. It's legislation, as the case is going to tell us. They pass it. It goes over to the Senate. Clearly Democrats. They sign that overnight. Just what happened with this bill today. Okay, so just envision what happened with the current bill, the $1.2 trillion spending bill. They just do it again with Trump. Goes to Biden's desk. He signs it. And then this whole thing is supported by a 9-0 Supreme Court decision. Okay. In other words, this case gives them a basis for doing this. They say, well, the Supreme Court said so. And it's not going to be challengeable in court, or if it will, it's going to be a tall standard to show why Trump should stay on the ballot.
Ouch. Hey, guys. Welcome, Amber. Good to see you. We have some news to catch up on this week. Welcome, everyone, to the Rescue Michigan Weekly live stream. I thought we might be joined by our friend Patty, and she popped in for like a split second. Oh, wait. Oh, here she is. Hey, Patty, how you doing?
You can't lose by too much. You can't keep going down. Hey, Patty.
Yeah, we have, if you guys don't know, on our website, rescuemichigan.com, on the video page, there now is a link to all the guests of this show, and Amber and Patty are almost tied for the number of appearances. I think Amber's up by 1 now, so there's maybe a little bit of a contest going. But welcome, everybody. For those who are not aware of what that clip was all about that we just saw, another Republican, Mike Gallagher, is resigning from Congress, and he has timed his resignation just to make sure that the Republicans could lose the majority before the next election. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about here. This is someone that breaks it down. This is a person on. By the way, are we live on Rumble? My Rumble stream is not open. Hold on, let me try this again. Rumble, are you there? Okay, people are watching on Rumble, but I'm not seeing any chats. I don't know. And we lost Patty. Oh my gosh.
We lost Patty. This doesn't even count as one.
Well, we still have to put her down as a guest of the show. Taylor says Murkowski is leaving too. Interesting. The last thing I heard from Murkowski was talk about leaving the Republican Party. Just does not necessarily meaning caucusing without the caucusing against the Republicans, but I don't know. But here's the story. So in Wisconsin, where Mike Gallagher is from, a special election will have to occur if the vacancy occurs prior to the second Tuesday in April. But because he is resigning on April 19th, that means this seat will be vacant until November. So the congressional majority Republicans have is, I think, going down to 5 seats, maybe fewer. And the thing that's interesting about Mike Gallagher,
1 seat.
I don't think it's that close.
It's one, but then McCarthy and one of the other guys, they're going to have special elections, so they're going to fill them. But I think with this guy, it makes it 1.
Yeah, that's what it says in this article, is 1 seat left, although there are some seats that will probably get refilled.
Yeah, McCarthy and one more.
Yeah. So McCarthy left early. Gallagher, who, by the way, was the chair of the select committee on communist China, or the CCP, which is, oh, you left Patty again, which is, folks, I've been saying for a long time, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me about this. I think all the China stuff is a red herring, honestly.
I tend to possibly agree with that.
And the funny thing, so Gallagher, of course, his background is intelligence stuff. And this has all been, like, what happened in Congress a week or two ago was, out of nowhere, they resuscitated this bill to ban TikTok, although it wasn't actually a ban TikTok bill. The first time it came around last year was called the Restrict Act. And what it actually said was, basically, the government can deplatform anybody if they say you're serving a foreign interest. Then they brought the bill back a couple weeks ago, and all kinds of Republican lawmakers sounded the alarm about this too. Thomas Matthews talking about this. He's like, actually, there's a big free speech issue if you're destroying the platform that 150 million Americans use, like it or not. And look, I'm not on TikTok. You guys probably are not on TikTok. I don't like TikTok, but people use it. And
It's
people use it for
effective, though.
Huh?
I said it's effective, though.
Yeah. John says my congressman Tim Walberg voted for it. Yeah, we've got some congressional votes to show tonight. But yeah, no surprise. But yeah, he voted for it. And Walberg was on the Energy and Commerce Committee where it passed 50-0. And that was reportedly right after they got some kind of top secret intelligence briefing that says you wouldn't believe what the Chinese Communist Party actually can determine about Americans from what they post on TikTok. And it's like, oh, really? First off, you mean the stuff that people can just buy? The stuff that all these other companies just sell people? Right. Oh, that's what they can get from. You wouldn't believe the social media profile, the government that the foreign governments can get, like stuff they can just buy online. it's so ridiculous. Yeah. It says leaving coming back doesn't count towards the guest hosting tab.
Did I miss that before I joined that you guys were talking? I got to catch up to Amber.
I said I don't. When Patty keeps coming on and off, it doesn't count as her one.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Still down by one
episode.
Right,
Richard. Yes.
Anyway, so this guy Mike Gallagher is he was said to be like this huge rising star in the GOP. He was going to run against Tammy Baldwin for U.S. Senate. He was in you'll never guess, the intelligence part. He was an intelligence officer in the Marine Corps, so he got those intelligence connections, and he was the chair of the select committee on the Chinese Communist Party, which, by the way, folks, isn't even called the CCP. It's the CPC. It's the Communist Party of China. But
Steve
anyway,
Bannon calls it the CCB. He's got a song, or CCP. I mean, he's got a song about it. So.
Who?
Yeah.
Bannon.
Oh. So
Mike Gallagher is out now. And what this guy in the cold open was talking about, this guy, Robert Gouvier, he used to go by Robert Gruler. I don't know why, but he's Robert Gouvier now on
Robert
YouTube.
Goulet?
You should look him up.
What?
He used to go by Robert Gruler, Guler. Now he goes by Robert Gouvier, Gouveia, I think. A lot of vowels. But a great law tube channel. And what he was just talking about is that it doesn't take many more Republicans to retire early. The other one was Ken Buck. And again, the same story. Same very strange story. He's announced he's going to retire from Congress, and then he says, I'm not even going to finish my term. I'm not even going to take my congressional pay while I work to line up my next lobbyist job. I'm going to screw over the Republican caucus and bring them Democrats one seat closer to majority. And so now we've got at least two. We have three. We have three. We have Kevin McCarthy, we have Ken Buck, now we've got Mike Gallagher. Folks, once as happenstance, twice as coincidence, three times as enemy action. The Republicans are quitting. Some Republicans are quitting to give the Democrats a majority. And what Robert Gouvier's point is that all it takes is any kind of act of Congress to say that Trump committed insurrection. Now, I'm not entirely sure that they can get it through the Senate without the filibuster, because I don't know how they would. But his point is still well taken. They're getting perilously close to where they can use some kind of act of Congress to say that Trump committed an insurrection, which if this happens, guys, all hell's going to break loose across the country. Because this is not just like some Americans think the election was stolen in 2020. This is like everybody knows the election was stolen if they disenfranchised Donald J. Trump from being on the ballot in 2024. And that the Republican elements of the Republican Party conspired to allow that to happen. Yeah, Tim Kuhn says, Ken Buck says there are several more in the wings looking to quit.
Awesome.
Well, why?
Yeah, exactly. There's only one reason I can think of.
I don't know. Maybe they're getting threatened by people.
Well, I mean, like I can tell you from when I worked on the Hill with Kerry Bentivolio, and he only had 2 years in the House. You really feel pretty special when you're a member of Congress. That is not something that anybody would let go of easily, because you are now in the history books. Even if you're the lowest congressman, you're still a congressman. You're still one of, in the House, 438 plus 100 more in the Senate. Still amazing. Out of 300 million people, you're one of those people that's in there. Thomas Richard says he said 3 more.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good people on right now.
Very,
And
very, very, very dangerous stuff. Graywolf49 on Rumble says it's pronounced Gove. No, I'm sorry. Hurlbag says it's pronounced Gove. Graywolf49 says spells it out Gouvei. That's what I said. I got it right. There you go. Look him up on YouTube. Robert Gouvet on YouTube. Great law channel. Anyway, and even if the Senate filibuster might save our country, that's a pretty damn sad state of affairs right there. When we're at the point where the Democrats we can expect will unanimously vote to disenfranchise the Republican nominee and know they will face no political consequences, and Republicans will aid and abet them in doing so for the purpose of disenfranchising the absolutely clear Republican nominee, the preference of the Republican Party across America, as has now been determined by every single state that's had a ballot on it. I mean, this is folks, this is getting very, very, very dangerous where we're going in this country. Very, very dangerous. Anyway, other than that,
everything falling apart and sucking. What else? It's gonna have Patty on though. I love you, Patty.
Yeah.
We can team up on Adam.
Huh?
We can team up on Adam when you're
Okay.
Here. Yeah.
We'll see how I do tonight. I'm a little rusty.
Folks, I tell you, it's getting to the point where it's like I'm even wondering, like, what the hell's the point of this stuff anymore?
So, okay, yeah. So John brings up a good point. I could walk away too for a good cause. I mean, man, burnout. I don't know. It's getting sad. What are we fighting for sometimes? Yeah. I wonder.
Well, because if you quit, then other people behind you will quit, and soon everybody will quit, and soon there's nothing left to go. I mean, folks, if we lose our country, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? Where else can you go?
Italy.
Where you can
Italy.
Uh-huh.
Italy. I don't know. Just live out the rest of my life. What do you want? I mean,
right. Go get an island and build a wall.
Well, I don't think fleeing is a smart political strategy. And well, there will be a geopolitics show in the very near future because we do need to talk about what's been going on with China and Russia and all this other stuff. Randy Guppy says we lost a good state committee member last night. I don't know what that's in reference to. Do you ladies know what he's talking about? Maybe something else. Maybe South Carolina member. I don't know.
I would guess no.
Drinking water, Jason. Drinking water.
Nothing.
Coffee. Someone here. Oh, Nick Pearl said, "Good to see you guys last night." Yes, we were out. Well, Amber and me were out at Jonathan Roach's event last night. He had a birthday party where he announced running for.
I was at a superheroes event too. Red Pill Pack in Grand Rapids, the Kent area, put on a really awesome superhero event. Trying to get people to run for office and getting them information. It was really cute. The kids came. There's lots of kids running around in superhero costumes. It was great. So I saw Nick there as well. It was a good time.
Yeah. Stephanie Rechtenwald was on. That's not good.
That's not good.
No, folks. Resigning is also not a good strategy or a good tactic.
Why would she resign now?
Maybe she.
I don't know.
You know what I will say though. You know what I'm not going to say.
Maybe
I want to say.
No, I don't know.
It's one thing I should say.
On a completely unrelated note, we did deliver more than 1,100 petitions to the Trump campaign talking about Mike Rogers, which dovetails nicely in what we were just talking about with this intelligence community connected congressman resigning, almost as if to screw over the Trump campaign. That Mike Rogers, who has a long, clear, unbroken history of opposing Donald J. Trump until the moment he wanted his endorsement to run for U.S. Senate. A lot of people signed that petition. A lot of Republicans, a lot of people, county chairs, state committee members, national delegates signed that, and I applaud all of you guys that did, because that, I mean, it takes some nerve to stand up to Donald Trump, who I'm sure was going to say that makes me look bad. That's going to hurt my chances. Actually endorsing Mike Rogers.
Exactly.
Huh?
It's about the fact that going to the general with this particular candidate is not good for Michigan. It was never about Donald Trump, but egos get in the way. It was about the fact that you didn't let the process play out appropriately in this certain circumstance. So
yeah, I mean, Michigan. Endorsing this really was foolish. And again, I mean, have some, like, do some due diligence. Do some due diligence. Oh,
yeah.
Mike Rogers was on CNN as a paid CNN person, doing what? Calling you, Donald J. Trump, someone who committed conduct unbecoming of office, which to military people, and Mike Rogers, I think, was at some point in the military, is basically a way of saying you're a criminal. That's what that means. You should be dishonorably discharged from the military. That's what that means in that context. So I understand Trump was trying to impeach me.
Yeah. He was kicked off of Trump's transition team back in 2016. He has ties to Benghazi. He has just a laundry list, ties to China. Just a laundry list of stuff that probably will not be good coming forward. And it's not even about being a rhino. It's just about being ethical and principled. And when somebody asks who else the candidates were, I don't know. Maybe you should just let it play out.
He wasn't obligated to issue an endorsement. He probably wanted to, just because he wanted to make sure that Meyer, who voted to impeach him, and Amash, who voted to impeach him, were going to be viable candidates, which who says they were. I'm surprised Meyer hasn't dropped that already. And then Allegan News says, who was the alternative candidate for U.S. Senate that we had? I mean, I can think of several. First off, Trump's endorsement is supposed to make a candidate, right? I mean, isn't that the way that's supposed to work? But you had candidates that had money. Fanny Pensler, we know, has millions of dollars to input in his campaign. Glenn Wilson claims he does. Michael Hoover might, potentially. We don't know. So there was at least one candidate, probably two or more, that had the ability to be financially competitive. And if not, so what? You know? Because here's what happens when you endorse someone who completely opposes your agenda, someone who anyone that knows anything about Mike Rogers would know he would have voted to impeach your ass too.
Right.
Now you've demoralized your entire base. Oh, you're going to go knock on doors and say, yeah, vote for Donald Trump and Mike Rogers. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very sad state of affairs. Some other bad things happened in Washington this past week. Maybe you guys saw this. There was a vote to...
To talk about something good. Anything?
Well,
anything?
Good if you're Jack Bergman, I guess, because we had this vote for a new budget bill. Strangely, Kevin McCarthy, who was removed from his speakership in the House because of his lack of transparency and breaking promises, but at least was talking about allowing the different departments to come up with their own budgets, which was replaced by Speaker Mike Johnson, who negotiated everything in this big budget deal behind closed doors. This was a $1.2 trillion minibus, meaning not even the full omnibus budget, but still just a big fat load of spending for many, many, many agencies, passed in the dead of night. In fact, just after they passed this, this story came out. Department of Justice announces a federal red flag center that catches Congress by surprise just after they passed their $1.2 trillion, it says omnibus, but they mean minibus spending package, larger than any such spending bill passed under Speaker Nancy Pelosi and current Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, driven by the election year desire to avoid a government shutdown. Right after that, Thomas Massey, what the hell is this evil? We did not authorize this. A federal red flag center announced, of course, just hours after the omnibus passes. So good job, Congress, because you must have had to fund this. This is a quote from Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, who is destroying the Republican Party with lawfare around the country. The launch of the National Extreme Risk Protection Order resource center will provide our partners across the country with valuable resources to keep firearms out of the hands of individuals who pose a threat to themselves or others, i.e., all of you guys, basically. Anyone that the department deems its political enemy. We know how that goes. The establishment of the center is the latest example of the Justice Department's work to use every tool provided by the landmark Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. That's the National Red Flag Law, to protect communities from gun violence. So, good job, Republicans. I'm sure you guys did great work making sure that that was not in the budget bill that you didn't read because you didn't have the time to before you voted for it. And here's how they voted, in case anyone's wondering. Here's the vote. As you can see, more Democrats than Republicans voted for it, but that was not a problem for Speaker Mike Johnson. Could have had Speaker Jim Jordan, but we didn't because of John James, among others. But in Michigan, only John James, who, of course, voted for this turkey. There's his name on the yes list right there. 101 Republicans to 112 no votes. So Johnson actually got the Democrats to get the bill over the finish line. In fact, here's a quote. Anyone want to guess who this is from? Quote, "When we're winning, why would we worry about the Republicans flailing? Now we're able to get this across the finish line largely intact with very little damage, given we're not in charge. That's like a double win, so I'm happy." That's Representative Mark Pocan, former chairman of the House Progressive Caucus, talking about how wonderful it is that the Republican idiots passed this bill. And in Michigan, the vote was from John James, yes. From Tim Walberg, there's his name there, yes. Bill Huizenga, there's his name right there, yes. Who else is a Republican from Michigan? There's not very many. On the no column is Jack Bergman. Good for him. One of them, John Molinar. There's Molinar up there. So to Mark Kerniel's question, did all Michigan reps vote for the monster bill? No. Actually, Jack Bergman did not.
Is he
and the other person is
McLean?
Lisa McLean. Of course she voted yes. Yeah, there's Lisa McLean's vote right there. So the two no votes were Jack Bergman and Rashida Tlaib, who voted no for it because it funded Israel. So much for all that America First stuff, right, Republicans? Yeah, Mark, all but one Michigan Republican.
All but one Republican, yeah.
Yeah. Thomas Richard, apparently Richard Grinnell advocated for Trump to endorse Rogers. No surprise, Grinnell's a complete deep state swamp activist. Robert Barnes has been calling him out on that for a long time.
Yep. He's the one who didn't want to pardon Assange, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was one of the people that wanted.
John C. King's comment up above about ethical and principled is mentioned. You work for pay from an opponent. Well, do you want to hear about that story? Because I think that the Senate race was the most important race in Michigan. It really was. It really is. And I was asked to go to a Senate campaign that I still think is the best one. I still think that Sandy is the best candidate. And I prayed about it and I thought about it. And that's where my heart was. That's where my heart is. So did I leave Oakland County because of pay and more money? And no, absolutely not. I went because the Senate campaign was the most important campaign in this state to bring national attention to Michigan. So am I working for pay for an opponent? Yes, I am. But it was to stop such stuff that's going to happen. So, and if you don't, I don't know if you know me or not, but I would be as pissed, if not more pissed right now, and still go scorched earth against this because you don't know me as an activist. So sorry, John, but I'd be pissed either way. Pay or not.
I believe you have mentioned it before that you work for that campaign.
Oh, I have, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Like, otherwise is disingenuous. Or he didn't see it.
It's very frustrating that people don't know me.
I get calls every year asking me to work on a campaign. I'm like, well, usually it's in another state. I'm like, so you want me to leave behind the living that I currently have, move for a campaign that might win, probably won't win, but even if it does maybe win, it's like a 6-month gig at best. No, thank you. And almost never are they offering any kind of competitive pay. Campaigns are hard jobs, guys. If you think that
it's hard.
Yeah, if you think that anyone is like joining a campaign to get rich, no, the only people that make money in campaigns are the consultants.
Yeah.
And even then, So
my heart
anyway.
was there. My heart still is there. I still think it's very important to win nationally for Michigan. I think that if we win Republican seats nationally, we can change the tide for fundraising and a whole other slew of stuff. But I didn't do this to get rich or make money and do that, and would oppose Rogers either way. I was not a Rogers fan in the beginning, which is why I went to the campaign. So, I mean, I'm sorry, John, if you don't know me, but that kind of was just uncalled for. So thanks.
Allegan News says, trying to find Michigan red flag law voting results to find out what state reps need primary outing. I can probably look that up for you, Allegan News. That shouldn't be hard to find because I think that's going to be on the Rescue Michigan site someplace. Let me see if I can find it here right now. Let's see here. It may not be. It's because I think our scorecard might have been a bit outdated. I'll find it for you, though. I'll post a link in the description with the results of the red flag law vote. Anyway, what else are we going to talk about tonight? So that was the budget bill where Republicans in Michigan. It's weird because, again, remember, folks, most Republicans in the House voted no on that budget bill. In Michigan, every Republican except for Bergman voted yes. We have the worst Republicans we've had in Washington, it feels like, below the national average, which is embarrassing.
I'm not commenting on any of that, though. So that
okay, you don't have to.
I'll stay away from that one. I do.
Yeah. What else happened this week? Oh, there was a Supreme Court hearing on the censorship of the internet bill. One of those big deal things going on in this election year. This is the case Murphy v. Missouri. You guys may remember that absolute chat of a federal judge, Doty, I think it's Mike Doty, put out this preliminary injunction saying this was the most radical. Here's what he said. If the allegations made by plaintiffs are true, the present case arguably involves the most massive attack against free speech in the United States' history. The plaintiffs are likely to succeed on the merits in establishing the government has used its power to silence the opposition. That was the district judge's opinion. And the appellate court, 3-0, when they reviewed the case, upheld the injunction. That case then went to the U.S. Supreme Court, and they heard oral arguments just this past week, 6 days ago. Glenn Greenwald watched the Supreme Court analysis, and here's what
lifted the injunction, though.
Huh? Yeah, they lifted the injunction, which is already a bad sign. And Greenwald did not sound optimistic to me about.
Yeah, I didn't hear Mike Davis. I heard interviewed. He didn't think it sounded good either.
No, here's a clip from Glenn Greenwald.
And that is what is at the heart of what the Supreme Court had to decide today. And it was obvious that many of the justices on the Supreme Court, not only the liberal justices, but several other conservative justices as well, believe that it is most definitely an appropriate role for the United States government to play to, at the very least, pick up the phone and call big tech companies in private and convey to them which views they think should be suppressed and which people they think should be silenced. And while most everybody is willing to agree, except for Justice Brown Jackson, that what the U.S. government cannot do is accompany those requests with explicit threats, meaning unless you censor the way we tell you to, we will destroy your company. Pretty much everyone except for Justice Brown Jackson seems to agree that that is not permissive. What they seem to be believing is that even when the U.S. government is throwing its weight around, when they're having the FBI call the big tech platforms at the same time that they're threatening to punish them in all sorts of ways by removing protections under the law that they need, or by attacking them in regulatory and legal ways, that there's somehow nothing sufficiently coercive about that behavior that makes it unconstitutional, even though the 4 federal judges underneath the Supreme Court who have all looked at this question all agreed not only that the Biden administration was violating the Constitution, but was doing so in a flagrant and glaring way. Now, there's other questions.
So that's the clip from Glenn Greenwald. He went on to say he would bet, if he was a betting man, that based on the questions that were asked by Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, and John Roberts, that the court find a way to throw this case out and reinstate state censorship. So that was Glenn Greenwald's analysis. Who knows? I mean, you never really know, but oftentimes the questions that judges, the justices are asking can be indicative, and we would need two of them. We would need two of them to, and as they've already thrown out the injunction, which apparently the government's whining that they're still not censoring because they're waiting to see what the Supreme Court does. But that's very, very dangerous. And that just means everything that was in place that rigged the 2020 election, well, not everything, but a big part of the rigging of the 2020 election was the censorship. And the U.S. Supreme Court, with a 6-3 Republican appointee majority, might allow that to happen again in this election cycle. And not just this election cycle. I mean, that would be precedent, guys. That would be precedent for the federal government to bully, browbeat, threaten, and coerce tech companies into censoring speech online. So there's that. Also, by the way, Peter Navarro went to jail this week, 4 months, for contempt of Congress, which is, and for those who are not familiar with this case, this is a Trump aide who, when he was demanded by the January 6th committee to answer a bunch of questions, says, I can't because I'm bound by confidentiality and executive privilege that I owe to the president. So they're like, no, you have to violate your confidentiality. Well, no, I can't, because then I could be breaking the law doing that, because that was what my understanding of what the law is I can't break this confidentiality. So having been put into an impossible legal position, now he's been brought out to jail, convicted by a DC jury, a lynching jury. And again, another very, very, very dangerous precedent. And all this is happening as the election is looming. So I think we're starting to see what the narrative is taking shape here, guys. Like, it's starting to become pretty clear. And that was kind of what that cartoon was. It was not a cartoon. It was actually real life. This group called Patriot Front, which is, I mean, very, very, very obviously, FBI initiated, orchestrated. If not every single one of these people is the FBI, then certainly they're like completely created by them. That was our thumbnail image. But you can see where this is going, guys. We talked about this last week's stream, the Christian nationalism thing, which coincides with what all of these let's call them grassroots groups around the country are doing. I don't know the term for them. Some of you guys might know what it is.
It's not right now.
And all they're doing is ratcheting up the agitation, Like, there was a story, so this past week. So Stephanie Lambert, who was one of these Michigan attorneys, who was apparently got into a voting machine, which probably shouldn't have done. I don't know. Jeff says with the khakis that blew their cover. Yeah, they all wear khakis. It's funny. Any group that calls themselves a front and they all dress the same, you can kind of tell who they might be. Anyway, so Lambert had a court appearance that she missed for criminal charges. The judge issues a bench warrant. She gets arrested, and you see people all over the place like, Stephanie Lambert's a hero and a martyr. And it's like, she missed a court appearance for a criminal charge. When does that happen?
Someone else that did that this week.
Oh yeah, who is that? A certain ball kicker? Yeah, interesting.
What are you doing this for?
Nothing. James and I are friends.
Oh, your friend? Okay. Then you're not my friend.
No. Well, okay. So, in all fairness, it's a big tent party, and James calls me.
The people I want to associate with the GOP are people that are violent felons, hang naked Barbie dolls, and commit all kinds of atrocities.
You're an enabler. You're an enabler.
I'm not an enabler. I'm not.
You are an enabler.
I'm not an enabler.
You are 100% an enabler.
I'm not. I'm not saying I'm just like, I'm biting my tongue because I know I'm going to get a phone call from James tomorrow.
Just you wait, and if you answer, you're an enabler.
Yeah,
okay. Duly noted.
Yeah, James Chapman is someone that needs to be expelled from the party every single place he ever shows up.
Yeah,
every single place. He's a dangerous person. He is a violent felon. He is someone that should not be welcome in any GOP event anywhere at all, ever. And shame on every single person. Of course, Jonathan Chapman is a different person, not even related. Not even related. You know, Emma says he assaulted someone.
He went to prison for 10 years for attempted murder.
Yeah.
Wait, what did he do?
Attempted murder, my dear. You want him to babysit your kids?
We have someone in my county that claims he sexually assaulted her. Yeah.
Okay.
I
understand.
If you see him in a room, I immediately am going to be in a defensive stance because he is a violent, dangerous person. If you want to welcome that guy to the GOP, I don't
want to. Okay. I've lived my life how I've lived my life, and this is going to sound maybe a little sadistic, but I always want to be nice to the guy that could, like, you know, hurt you the most, because you just don't want to be in that confrontation and have to be on the list. I don't want to be on the hit list. Just saying.
Okay. Well, I like purple flowers.
Marcy Jankovic says it's pronounced Goivea. He dropped his father's name and took his mom's name. I have followed him for years. Okay, so we have a disputation here. Marcy says it's Goivea. Pearl Bags on Rumble says it's pronounced Gove. I don't know what the answer is, guys.
I love Marcy. I go with Marcy.
Jonathan says I like black flowers. Okay.
Okay, Jonathan.
So ridiculous.
Yeah. And let's see. It doesn't matter how nice he is in person. Stay clear of him, especially being a woman.
He's not a nice person. I'm just saying. I live my life to make sure that I'm not the one on the hit list when they come with something. That's how I've always lived my life.
All right.
Assault kills someone else, just not you. Got it.
I don't want to be kicked in the balls.
I wouldn't worry too much about that. But anyway, getting back to what we're talking about, there's a narrative here that's clearly at work. We showed this last week. This comment from, and I actually don't have it handy, but it's coming from a bunch of news reporters for the mass media in Michigan, talking about this. There was a hit piece on Josh Shriver, but the point being, the media says there's going to be a lot in the news about Christian nationalism this year, and that's exactly where they're going with this. And at the same time, they're provoking people towards violence. And there's going to be an escalation. There's going to be an escalation with the January 6th cases. There's going to be an escalation with the electors cases. There's going to be an escalation with this voting machine cases, all this stuff. And all of it's to try to get you guys to do exactly what they want you to do, which is to do something violent, something stupid, anything other than going out, knocking on doors and winning votes. And they may yet even find some way to get Trump off the ballot, which if they do that is going to be, I mean, at that point, who knows what's going to happen next? That could be extremely dangerous. I wonder what the RNC would do. I think the RNC would vote to nominate Trump anyway. I think they would. I would. I'm not a national delegate, but I would. I'd vote to, because that's what the people voted for. John C. King says, Michonne Maddock, John Smith, maintenance put the laughing icon like to the ball kicking, shaking my head. Yeah. It's not funny, guys. It's disgusting. Jonathan Chapman says, I laughed pretty hard about it. Endless jokes. The joke's on us, guys. The joke's on us. The joke's on us. We had people in the 6th congressional district at the state convention, district convention, voting to not only did they vote to reinstate James Chapman as a district delegate.
They did not do that. Let's make this clear. He is still not a delegate to the Wayne 6th.
Okay, but they gave him standing to.
They don't have any right, no matter what they think they do, the district chair and her committee, they do not overrule decisions made at the county level.
Well, James Chapman voted at the district caucus. So.
Well, that's different, sir, on a permanent basis.
Yeah. They still elevated him by a big majority.
Well, because they stood up in front of the room and lied.
Yeah. Well, so what? They're dumb enough to believe lies.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
sent an email out to all of them telling people, in case you didn't know who James Chapman was, they knew who he was. 6 people voted to make him a national delegate. 6 people. 6 people decided, a convicted felon, guy who drove a car into a lake because he was evading.
You can't say, okay, maybe, whatever. I mean, the behavior continues. Oh, that's his past. No, it's his present.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave him standing. Shame on them. Shame on all of them.
Yep.
Everybody likes an underdog, I guess.
Shame on them.
I'm
what else we
not
got
saying
coming up
anything.
here?
I'm just saying, like the same thing with the Macomb people and giving people a narrative when they
This
don't
is
know the
why
full
we're
story.
pathetic.
Exactly. I'm agreeing with you. It's very sad.
Yep. Jonathan Chapman says Samantha Strayer voted for him. I heard. Yep, Samantha Strayer, national delegate, voted for him. So did Jason Rogers, national alternate. So did Miriam Corvino. They're all very proud of themselves. Very proud of themselves. Anyway,
This has been quite depressing.
yeah, James Chapman threatened to bring a chainsaw to my township meeting, caused me some grief. We had one of our former guests of honor shows. He shot her with a squirt gun. Yeah, this guy's a sicko. He's a sicko.
Mhm.
He's a sicko. And these people voted for him because that's what they are. They're sickos. Jeffrey T says they're letting illegals to have weapons while taking weapons away from the people. Yeah, that's what that National Red Flag Center was. Yeah, we'll have to pull the vote on that. And also, I do at some point have to find the vote on the red flag law because there were some Republicans that voted for that, which I will be able to find. I'm probably not gonna be able to find it without having some dead air on the stream tonight, but so I won't. But I'll put the link in the description for that. Anyway, I guess for the sake of having some happier news, this is Scott Adams' take on Trump's third act. Keep in mind, he was wrong about Trump's third act in 2020, but here's what he says. This is a post from a day or so ago. When was this posted? 2 days ago. He says, Trump's third act has begun. It's a beauty. Next week, Trump could make over $4 billion when his media company goes public, removing all doubt about his billionaire status. We'll see. And you can stop asking if he would be better off putting his inheritance into a savings account in the 70s. I expect Trump to leave a 15% tip for Letitia James and the Democrats because they made his windfall possible by hunting him and censoring him for years. You can call it a bond, not a tip if you prefer. When the Supreme Court tosses out the unconstitutional fine, Trump gets most of his tip back. Will they, though? Will they, though? Supreme Court rarely takes up cases, period. You know? Mark Kernel says Elon Musk liked that tweet. That's probably why I saw it, because I stopped following Scott Adams a while ago. The Democrats planned to cripple Trump financially so he couldn't spend as much in the campaign. Trump turned Letitia James into his best fundraiser. Lots of interesting developments lately on the topic of the 2020 election. The simulation wants at least some of those fresh allegations to be a kraken. Trump's legal maneuvering is likely to keep him eligible for the election. We'll see. You can fantasize about a heroic Democrat such as Newsom swooping in and replacing Biden, but it's looking less likely every day. It had always been the plan. It would have happened by now. It looks like Biden has to stay on the job to keep the Biden crime family out of jail. The predictable Democrat summer hoax will add some excitement, but it will be forgotten and debunked by November. Will it, though? Trump's upcoming victory is looking like it will be, as Trump says, too big to rig. And by that, I mean Democrats will try to rig it anyway and get caught. That will be fun. We'll see. This sounds to me a lot like fantasy on Scott Adams' part, but
This was supposed to be uplifting, Adam.
Oh, sorry. The gears of the machine have become visible. We can all see the FBI is rotten and the DOJ is weaponized. We know the border is open intentionally. We know cartels are working with our government. We know our elections are designed not to be auditable, and there's only one reason for it. We can see Biden is not in charge. We know the Ukraine war was always about its energy resources and who gets to own them. We know our rising debt is ruinous. We know our experts are liars. We know our pharma and food industries are poisoning us. We know our government is racist. We know the corporate media is essentially owned by Democrats who are controlled by intelligence entities, and they are actively brainwashing the population. We know the First and Second Amendments and X are under sustained government attack because they are the public's last defense against the government, but we are not quitters, and the odds do not apply to us.
It's crazy that we keep referring to intelligence entities, but yet our next U.S. senator will be, an intelligence agency. Like the intelligence agencies are the bad guys, people. They're bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mike Rogers.
Sorry, and John C. King. I work with Sandy Pensler because I'll have that caveat every time we make a comment. Just for people are now tuning in.
Next to your name in parentheses.
Yeah, full disclosure. Jeffrey T says they caught the 4 terrorists. We'll talk about that story on a stream very soon, probably tomorrow or Tuesday. This is in Russia, the Russia terror attack. We'll see. I'm not sure if it's the 4 terrorists. They might have caught for terrorists who are not all of the people that were involved in that. But, well, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see quite how that story shapes up. I am behind on my comments on Rumble, so let's see here.
Make those happen.
Denise Divas says, I heard Trump endorsed Rogers because he figured he was the one who had a chance. Originally, he was going to endorse Sherry O'Donnell. Could be. Actually, a former boss of mine is a consultant for Sherry O'Donnell's. Funny enough, he wanted me to talk to her. I was like, well, if she's financially competitive, which I've yet to see, but who knows? Curtis Saber says Ukraine now owns the Palisades nuclear plant in Van Buren County. I cannot confirm that, but that's what he says. He also says all we need to do is get out from under the general law county status and vote in our home rule county charter, aka county constitution. Oh sure. That will totally work. We'll see. He also says the threat to our country is UN Sustainable Development Goals. Yeah, I mean it's gone by different terms over the years, but there you go. Kay Duffney says, freaking scary. I would like every Supreme Court justice to read the Constitution and Bill of Rights after they hear every case before they make the decision. They know the Constitution and Bill of Rights, guys. If they vote to allow the government to control social media's speech online, they're doing it willfully. There's no question. You don't need to educate the Supreme Court as to how to vote. If they vote to remove the First Amendment, which is what effectively they would do, this would be the most significant Supreme Court decision on the First Amendment and the worst Supreme Court decision going back to probably when they upheld the Alien and Sedition Acts. Like, that's how bad this is. If the Supreme Court votes to allow big tech censorship because they were coerced by the government, then the First Amendment is basically dead in the water. That's the end of it, guys.
You guys are too funny.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hurlbag says her attorney is our favorite. I don't know what that means. Also says, what about the thousands coming across our borders? Yeah, that's an issue. An issue that hopefully gets people out to vote. I hope. But we'll see what happens, guys. The thing is, like, in every major structural way, the Democrats are rigging the system in every way. In the media space, in the electoral space, in the legal space, they are being able to leverage all this stuff. Daniel Lala says, good to know someone saying he's spending some money. Yeah, he needs to staff up if he's going to be serious.
Oh my gosh. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Yeah.
We're doing great. We're doing phenomenal. Wait and see.
Yeah. And here's the crazy thing. Like, right now, we haven't talked much, and we don't need to talk much because we talk about it a lot, about the disruptors, the ass roots, if you will, the people that have been, so passionate for Christina Caramo and so passionate about election fraud. I talked to someone the other day who was very much involved in recruiting people to work the polls on election day as like election workers. And she's like, I can't get anyone to do it. Like, all the people that have been screaming and yelling about election integrity aren't doing nothing about election integrity anymore. All they care now about is avenging Christina. The only election they care about is the one in August, in the precinct delegate elections. They don't care about November election. They don't care about Trump winning. They're not going to do anything for it.
They'd rather go do a stakeout of a ballot drop box.
Yeah. That'll do them good.
Yeah.
That'll do them good. Anyway, I think we should probably start winding it down tonight because I know it's been a downer of a stream, but I have at least something.
So down. Like, this has been not fun.
Well, that's how it goes.
Good. So don't come on next week so I can catch up to you.
Yeah.
Well, next week's American Easter, right?
American Easter.
American Easter.
Ray Important says, is that what Markey calls himself, the disruptor? I don't know who Markey is, and I don't know what that
Michael
means.
Markey's running for Congress out in Grand Rapids area.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Greek Easter is May 5th this year.
Is it? Oh, it's good to know. Thank you.
Cinco de Pascha.
Cinco de Mayo.
May 5th, we call it Cinco de Pascha, yes.
I'll come over and celebrate Cinco de Mayo. You celebrate Greek Easter. That'll be a fun time.
I will serve you lamb chops and
margaritas.
Divaritas, but margaritas, yes.
That'll be fun. I'll put it in my calendar right now. Then we'll do a podcast together. We'll kick off our podcast.
That'll be the launch. Yeah.
Yes.
You are Greek too. Yes. Is she asking me, Dodge Don? Yes, I am.
Oh, hey, Don.
Jonathan Chapman says Markey is a great candidate. Markey is a joke. Go Ikes. He is a great candidate to support. I don't know anything about either of them.
Like, I don't know who
Jason
I
Mickelborg says there are states of emergency out for the eclipse this week. Okay.
Hey, Jason.
Jeffrey Keith says, Adam, are you in Telegram? Not really, no. There is a Rescue Michigan Telegram channel and chat. I am never on it. Sorry, guys. I don't do social media much at all. The only channel I really do anything on is X. The post on Rescue Michigan on Facebook is all Shane. The only thing I ever really do is X. Because X is easy, basically. You know, I don't have time to
I don't like X. I don't like Twitter. That's the only thing I don't like. I don't get it. I don't like to repost stuff. I don't like to read stuff.
I wish they would have kept it at 140 characters or 280, but this stuff now with these long form drives me nuts. I hate clicking more to get to the. I'd rather read a thread of 10 tweets than like click more and like, I don't know.
Yeah. Emma Birch says, I saw everyone say that Pete Hoekstra is looking for computers Christina bought. Did you see that? I have not seen that. By the way,
it was a Detroit News article. I read it.
Oh yeah. You know, I saw I did see the link to it, but I didn't get through the paywall. So, by the way, speaking of that though, if you guys don't know, let me open this up in another tab. That
was a good funny. That was funny, John.
Our friend of the show, Scott McMahon, has his own podcast now. Bigger Truth Media is now on Substack, and he's got links on his posts to his new channel where he does live streaming multiple times a week. He's got some amazing stories out, including an interview with in Arizona, where what just happened. You'll never guess. By one vote, they apparently, or no, let's see here. Here's the story. No,
they're selling
their headquarters without any financial disclosures. It was a closed meeting, closed even to PCs. That's their term for precinct delegates. And here it's PD. And yeah, they sold their headquarters. I think there's some weird fetish about selling headquarters where they're always trying to do this. Yeah, in another county, another disruptor wanted to relocate an office. They just always are trying to sell offices. It's so weird. They also have a really good interview with John Gibbs talking about. It's not posted here, but I'm sure if you go to this, you'll get to his YouTube channel. You can go from there. You can see his other interviews. He interviewed John Gibbs recently. He's got a lot of very interesting story to tell about what's been going on in Ottawa County. So you to check all that stuff out. Shout outs to Bigger Truth Media. Be sure you follow them on all the socials. You can find it there. But anyway, I want to close with this other story. This is from Michael Tracy talking about this political streamer, Destiny, who is a left-wing streamer, who I happened to tune into his program tonight, where he has 10,000 people watching his stream. So he's very prominent. And it turns out this guy is completely politically illiterate. Didn't know that Hillary Clinton voted for the Iraq War, which was like a major story in like the whole election cycle. Shockingly, elementary knowledge of U.S. government and politics he lacks. And he had this video, the world's smartest liberal. Didn't know who Kevin McCarthy was. Didn't know there was a East and West Germany after World War II. Thought Russia borders Egypt. And in this clip here, which I think I can play. Let's see if
really
it's audio.
Black and white.
Here's the best part. The very end.
Europe, bro. I don't even know half the countries in Europe.
Yeah, he hold on. Here we go. Let me just rewind it a little bit here.
He gets 10,000 viewers.
He has 10,000 people watching him live tonight, and this guy couldn't identify.
Was it a joke?
Couldn't identify a third of the U.S. states. So this is a states quiz, not a states capitals quiz or cities or anything. No. Now the ones in red are the ones he couldn't identify in 4 guesses or in 3 guesses, I think is what it was. The ones in yellow he got wrong the first one. He eventually found Mississippi and Alabama. Could not find Wisconsin to save his life. Could not find Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, or Connecticut. And it took him several tries to identify Montana and Wyoming. And this is like a major left-wing liberal streamer. So there you go, guys. Kind of sad. And again, the point being, of course, not that, just some guy's an idiot, but that this is the guy getting tens of thousands of people watching his streams. Unflippin' believable. I mean, the he said, I don't even know half the countries bordering Russia. Yeah, I bet you don't. Probably couldn't find Russia on a world map.
See, Russia
Amazing.
from my house.
Yeah. Cindy Holland says, Adam D'Angeli, now you know why people are sometimes got 10,000 views and don't know. Yeah, they don't know basic information. Mark Kerniel says, who is more dangerous, Mike Rogers or Pete Hoekstra? Gee, well, let's see. One of them is running for the U.S. Senate, where he will have the ability to vote on trillions of dollars of spending and foreign wars. The other one is the state chairman, who's, in worst case, might fail to raise money. I don't know who could be more dangerous. Who could be more dangerous? Although they both were former chairs of the House Intelligence Committee, incidentally. George Hiller says, I hear the Lansing headquarters is basically empty. Yeah, I have heard that was in that story as well. Is that right?
Story. Yep.
Hey, Duffney on Rumble says, you're not cheering me up, Adam. Hey, sorry guys. I don't mean to be a black pill. I will just say,
it was a horribly downer stream, and I tried to laugh, light it up, but no, there was nothing. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, well, hey, it's not all good news in the world, folks. It really isn't.
Nope.
So, sad stuff. But, well, I don't know. We'll see how things turn out at the Supreme Court. Hey, the white pill was a Scott Adams tweet, so we'll see how he does. And I'm sure there'll be something from Robert Barnes. You can check him out if you want. He does a stream on Sunday nights too. Daniel Law says, not the MIGP headquarters. The Karamo leased office was empty. Oh yeah, what a surprise.
It's my laptop. Randy.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
folks, that's the white pill, I think. At least you got rid of Karamo. But hey, folks, coming up, precinct delegate elections. Remember, this is the one thing that they want to do is seize control of the state party. You got to file, get your friends to file, get your family filed, become precinct delegates, because there will be a convention, there will be a reckoning, and we do not want to have the wackos in control of the state party for another 2 years, because otherwise, it's Jocelyn Benson for governor. That's what's coming down the pike.
I don't think she'll win, but yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Why don't you think she'll win? We're going to have somebody better that's going to beat her?
No, I think it's going to be Mike Duggan, and Mike Duggan's going to run, and I think Mike Duggan has a more moderate appeal, but
we'll see. Rayanne Ford says, signed up yesterday to become a PD. Congratulations. Thank you.
yeah, I think I actually know. Am I notarized for form?
Nice. Hurlbag says, does you mean the Karamo mailbox? Yeah, basically.
No, we have tons of delegates for Trump events going across the state. Delegates for Trump is a new thing that's going on. We'll be in.
Isn't that the problem?
Isn't
that the root cause of all our problems?
Well, that's deep. Number one, we won't even go there. We'll have to uplift this somehow. There's a Flat Rock event on Wednesday, Wine Wednesday. I think it's in Flat Rock. It's downriver. Is Flat Rock downriver?
It's at the historical museum or
it's
something.
It's like classified downriver as like. So we'll be there on Wednesday. I'm getting back to events. Like let's get back to events. What I'm good at.
George Hiller says, I'm waiting for the screaming over the lower apportionment because KK got so few votes.
Well, that's not true necessarily, George, because the county chairs and whoever helps them, if they have a committee, basically you pick your divisor. So in the past, our previous county party divided everything by 100. So all the Trump votes divided by 100 equals how many vote fors you have for precinct delegate. But as long as you're consistent, when you do your math, it's okay. So if it's a lower number of votes and somebody wants to divide by 80 or 75 or whatever, they can do that. That is completely within the purview of the county chair.
Yeah, and not only that, but the county chairs decide, how many precinct delegates a precinct gets based upon that divisor number that Patty just mentioned.
Right.
But,
that's what I'm saying.
But at the state level, they still apportion the district delegates by the numbers within the entire district. So
Paula, why don't you divide by a different number then, Paula, so you don't lose 200?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane.
Well, Well, I don't know if she means precinct delegates, then because of the divisor changing, if she chooses to change it that way.
She's
But
a county
what I'm
chair.
saying
She can use
is-
whatever divisor she wants.
But I'm saying if Washtenaw County's, well, ignoring for a second the fact that we're switching from the votes for Trump to the votes for Christina, if we change our divisor, we still get the same number of delegates to the district caucus into the state
Right.
convention.
Yeah,
County.
that never
And-
changes. Yeah.
And between votes for Karamo versus votes for Trump, you still have the same total number of state delegates. So where if it's going to go up in some place, it'll go down in some other place based on just however.
Right. It would just be, yeah. So in a lot of circumstances, your vote fors aren't always full, but sometimes they are. So if we have a place that always fills all their spots, then, I would probably try to divide by something that allows them to all keep their spots if they choose to run again or whatever, and then apply that divisor consistently across the whole county. What ran into problems 2 years ago in one county was they picked and choose, whatever, a different divisor for, I don't know if it was on the precinct level or on the city level or municipality level. In some cases, they awarded I think the city of Trenton only got one. So they did some funny stuff, but you need to be just consistent across the board. So if that leaves one place where some, municipality has 12 vote fors and only 2, what are you laughing at?
Nothing. Nothing. Sorry. You're doing so good. This was Brian's comment to Miguel and Randy. I was going to say the same thing. I'm looking at the chat. I'm so sorry. You're doing so good, Patty. Keep going.
Divisor, John Smith, not divider.
Yeah, it's not optional because the way it works is you get a portion, a certain number of precinct delegates in each precinct based upon how many votes there were for every 2 years of Secretary of State.
Here's the number of Trump votes in the precinct. I can divide by 100. I can divide by 90. I can divide by 80. I can divide by whatever I want. And then as long as I divide by the same number everywhere.
We weren't doing by the Trump votes, though. We were doing by the Secretary of State votes.
Was last time. Now we have to redo
Secretary of
it. It's due April 1st next week.
Right. And that's why you lose votes, though, or lose delegate spots. It's because you had a lower voter turnout for the election cycle.
No, because you divide by a smaller number and then you keep the same answer at the end.
That's
really.
I don't think I'm saying anything, Patty, because I'm scared of you.
You should be right now.
With Matt? It's scary.
He just picked numbers. I assume she means whoever was the preceding chair. He had no.
Yeah, okay. Maybe he did. I know whatever it was. We went through and we corrected it for the downriver.
We're not going there right now.
Downriver.
I love the chats though. This is great.
Yes, Dawn. That was downriver. Yeah.
Can we get an announcement? Both candidates, Josh Powell and Ronald Singer, need volunteers to go out and knock and phone bank. Ronald has a phone banking event tomorrow. Details on singerfrommichigan.com. So there you go. And there's also, you can look up Josh Powell from Michigan. I've had his website posted before. Let me see here.
The answer is not divided by anything. That's
Powell for Michigan with the numeral 4 is Josh Powell's website. And their special elections are coming up, guys. So if you want to help them
clearly
out.
she is, Randy. And
we're scared of Patty.
After this stream, it might be warranted.
Patty's super scared.
There you go. John Smith asks, Boonstra or Fink? Good question.
Not right now.
I'm not an expert on either of them, honestly. I endorsed Fink before Boonstra was even running, but I don't know. I have to probably do some more research to see what Boonstra's opinions are on the appeals court. And I don't know that Andrew Fink has a history as a judge. I don't think he does. He's been an attorney and he's a state rep now. But I don't know if he's been a judge before. Yeah. On Rumble, Charlotte Cosmic says Donna Brandenburg has my vote for governor. Well, I hope she gets her forms in this time. Hurlbag says I have 2 new PDs. Excellent. Get more. Cindy Holland says Boonstra is a great constitutionalist. I know he markets himself that way. I don't know from his opinions because I haven't looked into them, so I can't confirm. Kuhn says Fink. So there. Tim Kuhn says Fink. So there you go. I don't know. They're both from Washtenaw County, by the way. Well, the Fink family is from Washtenaw County. Andrew Fink represents Hillsdale in the legislature currently. Boonstra was the former Washtenaw County GOP chair before he was appointed to the Court of Appeals. So there you go.
Let's go Washtenaw.
Yeah. what can I say? We
I feel like this
outsized.
got more upbeat though, so I feel like ending it on a good note.
Okay, Costanza.
Well, all right. So there you go, guys. Get out, knock on some doors for some great candidates in the Southeast Michigan. I'm not going to read Randy's mean quote, Randy's mean comment there. We will have more streams during the week. I actually had a lot of commitments this past week, so we only had 2 streams this past
You're
week.
slowing down.
I think we've got it's kind of nice actually. Mark says, "Is Shane Hernandez?" Oh, hey, thank you, Ray. We appreciate that very much. I was actually going to read this comment from Cindy.
Oh,
saying,
there's another enabler.
Books on the
Shane
Constitution.
Trudeau.
As I said, he markets himself as a constitutionalist. I don't care what his books say. I care what his decisions say. And now finally, the comment I was going to read was, "Is Shane Hernandez active in anything?" I don't think so. I don't know.
He's
I saw this weeks
ABC.
ago. Oh,
He's
is
doing
he?
some construction stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he works. Yeah, he's for ABC. He's the lobbyist or the.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I knew he was getting back into his architectural firm, but I didn't know he works for contractors.
Yeah, he's
Jason
great.
Ward. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm president for the buildings in Lansing. That should help. We looked at that on last Tuesday's stream, I believe. Check that out if you didn't see it with Scott McMahon this past Tuesday. I've also got a video coming soon with Scott McMahon. He spoke in Washington County this past week. It was going to be an event for the GOP, but then actually our landlord said, "You've had so many events in our conference room this month. We cannot have any more events for you." So we ended up having to do it off-site, and we said, you know what, screw it, because the disruptors were coming, so we just had it in our own location, where you'll never guess disruptors came and tried to photograph us at the event, but we'll talk more about that once the video comes out. The audio is overdriven, so I gotta fix that, but there we go. Randy Guppy says he's running a laundromat, talking about I guess
he's doing that back in Port Huron. Yes.
We're talking about Shane Hernandez.
That was awesome. Thanks, Ron. That was a good laugh. And thanks, Cindy.
Yeah. All right, guys. Anything you ladies would like to plug? Any events coming up that you want to talk about?
No. I mean,
okay.
No.
Wait,
that
was like oh.
Wine Wednesday.
All right.
Wine Wednesday, Flat Rock, Delegates for Trump.
Where do people find that?
Delegates for Trump on Facebook. I don't do stuff like this anymore. What else? And then in the walk days for Singer and Powell. Yeah, those are good. I probably will walk on Saturday this week.
Awesome.
Because everybody loves to have their door knocked the day before Easter.
Yeah. Knock on doors, recruit some precinct delegates, guys. It's important. The on that one.
The world would be a better place, Lawless, if that was the case.
Randy says May 4th D2 event. Save the date. Randy, is that the U.S. Senate candidates debate?
Is that a Star Wars event? What is it?
Oh, here we go. Sean Trujillo, who could not possibly be Shane Trejo, says there's delegates for RSVP.
Thanks, Shane. Good plug there.
Nick Prill says Kent County is violently voting on bylaws tomorrow. They wants to charge delegates $25 a year to attend executive committee meetings. I actually don't disagree with that. To tell you the truth, I think these people should be paying money to participate because they'll make them go away. I think, you know, they don't fundraise. That's one thing they cannot do.
Senate debate.
And to end this question,
Saturday in Adrian. There you go. I assume that's going to be on delegatesfortrump.com someplace.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm at Birch. If you register for precinct delegate, is it on the November ballot? No, the August ballot.
August
is a
ballot.
Primary election.
Deadline
the primary
is May 7th. The first deadline.
May 7th, August primary election.
Yeah, the second deadline is like a write-in. And then the third one, I think you can actually, up until possibly the day before the August convention, you can go in with an affidavit.
And then
write your own name in, get one vote and win and be a duly elected precinct delegate.
That's so much fun. So I do want to plug one event for Oakland County.
That was a joke.
I'm sure everybody noticed your sarcasm. So Taste Around the World is April 26th, and Taste Around the World was a really fun event last year that we started. It was a bunch of like countries that we had food at, and dancing is going to be this year, and cultural events, and it was in Lake Orion, and it was so much fun. So that's April 26th, and that's an Oakland County Republican Party event. So Taste Around the World. Love that one. That was so fun.
John says awesome event. So there you go.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds like fun.
It was such
So
a
there you
fun
go.
event. And now Angelina Esteban is part of that, and she's great. And I'm probably going to be there, hopefully. We'll see.
Yep. By the way, if you guys do want to become a precinct delegate, the best way to file is to just go to your county clerk's office. I know it's not the most convenient thing in the world, but if you go there, they'll notarize it for you. You get it done on the spot. They'll make sure you get the correct precinct because a lot of precincts have been renumbered this year.
Changed. Pay attention. Re-precincted.
Yeah. Cindy Holland says, did you mention the Rocha announcement? Well, I did mention that we had an event where he announced he was running for state rep. He is running, I believe he's primarying Gina Johnson, who has had a voting record that leaves much to be desired. Mark Kerniel says, who is John Rocha? He's been a guest on the show.
Who is
yeah.
John Rocha?
Yeah, who indeed. Jason Mickelborg says Kalamazoo GOP will be having a Lincoln Day event in May. Finally. Excellent. By the way, I heard Scott McMahon is going to be the keynote speaker at the Ionia County Lincoln Day dinner. So I'm absolutely going to be getting my ticket to that event. That's hot property right there. We have our Washington GOPs. We haven't announced it just yet, but we've got some speakers lined up from the Mackinac Center. That's going to happen one of these days around the corner here.
They have Megyn Kelly coming to town.
Yeah, May 5th. That's going to be fun.
It's a Thursday.
The Mackinac Center.
Mackinac Center is having an event in Grand Rapids with Megyn Kelly.
Yeah. Curtis Saber on Rumble says, why become a precinct delegate? All we are lackeys for the establishment. Well, no, honestly, Curtis, the idea
if that's what you think of yourself, that's a different, you shouldn't think that way.
That's what you want to do. It's up
but
to
you also
the
couldn't think you run the world either. There's a happy medium.
Yeah, if you're a precinct delegate, you have standing to vote at county conventions, and you have some say in who gets to lead the Republican Party.
Okay, what was running the world, Patty? What was that part?
What
did you say about running the world?
I said, oh God, I already forgot. So it's about you don't run the world either. There's somewhere in the middle. You're happy. Oh, you're not a lackey, but you're also not running the world. There's somewhere in the middle is a happy medium.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I run the world.
We're fighting the Democrats, we're fighting the corrupt establishment, and now we're also fighting this crazy cult of
I waste more time dealing with fellow people.
Yeah.
It's really
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm more and more coming onto the idea that the ass roots are even worse than the establishment because
let's not get that on such a good note, guys. We really were.
Yeah, we were almost there. We were almost there.
Yeah.
Almost there.
Oh well. Keep up the fight anyway, folks, because if we don't, no one else will. So thanks for all you guys do.
There we go.
Before I sign off, anything else you'd like to add before I go, Amber or Patty?
Most county chairs don't do much to help. I don't know. I've been door knocking every Saturday since February 3rd. So I don't know what county you're in, Mark, but.
Yeah, don't know what county Mark is in. But county chairs are supposed to do a lot of work. And the Oakland County chair does a lot of work. My county chair does a lot of work. Patty does a lot of work. It's a thankless job, guys. If you think your county chairs don't do any work, I'd be surprised if that's actually true. Unless it's like in Kent County or something. But that's the way that goes. All right. That's going to do it for us for tonight, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will. Yeah, Paul, I've been knocking so many doors. I tore my ACL. Yeah, a lot of us do a lot of work.
Paula, are you okay?
All right. Sad emoji on Paula's comment.
Seriously.
Yeah. Jason Mickelberg says, I should have Kim and Sabrina on sometime. I think he's referring to Kim Harris and Sabrina Pritchett Evans from Kalamazoo County. I don't know if they'd want to come on my show, but I don't know. We'll see. Paula says surgery soon. Hope everything goes well for you, Paula. That's didn't Patty, you had a terrible thing happen with your leg not too long ago.
October 22nd to 2022, and I'm still limping.
Jeez.
Achilles tendon, Achilles rupture. Don't ever have it happen to you. If you can avoid it, stretch your calves out.
Mark says, no digging, Patty. I didn't even know you were a county chair. No, I'm sure Patty didn't take any offense to that, Mark. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for us for tonight. As always, thanks for all you guys do for liberty. Can't say if we're gonna have streams during the week. I mean, I'm sure we will, but I'm not sure exactly when. But until then, peace.